Type man in boxing, led the Flair Cops. Shout out to Goodfellas Sports TV. Woo!
Don't forget to check out our sponsor, The Health Blaze, at thehealthblaze.com. 100% all natural products from lotions, soaps, foot soaks, bath bombs, and much, much more. Use the promo code Goodfella1Boxing. Tell them your boy CJ Goodfella sent you. Get 18% off. We out.
All right, man, we back. And Jake Paul blast Canelo Alvarez. Meant to get to this yesterday. Couldn't get to it. Had stuff I had to do. But basically, he said that Canelo ducking the fade of a few fighters. Let's get to it. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. And, you know, he said, you know, haters who are supposed to be the biggest draw in boxing but can't even fulfill their contract because the media company wasn't making a return on the investment, said Jake Paul on Instagram and criticized Canelo. A negative 5,000 favorite to win because they take on fighters, Ivan Uterman, who haven't not fought in 2 years and no one in the U.S. has even heard of. Test positive for steroids, Canelo Alvarez. I'm 2 years into the sport, Jake Paul, by the way, and you have been at it for 18 years, yet my pay going up and your pay going down. Focus on you and your brand and keep my name out your mouth. And in a few years, maybe I'll give you a chance to increase your pay again. So, you know, also, he went in and said that he said Jake Paul really let Canelo have a Wednesday and daring him to fight the top guys like Benavidez, ripping into him and about his decision to fight an overmatched Ivan Uterman. Jake Paul wants Canelo to fight these talents: Benavidez, David Benavidez, Andre Ward, Demetrius Andrade, Caleb Plant. Best 24 News said it was a few guys he missed. I don't have to see him fight. Better BF, Bevel, Berlanga, Pascal, whoever his other name is, Bekmir, Malakakaviv. I don't know who David Morrell and Baxter, so I can't speak on him, but I don't need to see him fight a light heavyweights. He went up there and got a gimme belt. It's not unusual. You seen Pacquiao get a gimme belt to catch weight. He got a gimme belt and drained Kovalev and still was struggling with Kovalev. He struggled with every upper echelon comp he fight, but people might not like Jake Paul. Okay, I don't have no issue with him. You know, you want to say you're a racist white boy, so be it. You want to say you're a white boy, he fucking up the sport, I don't care. For years, we've been asking Canelo to fight Jermell Charlo, to fight David Benavidez, to fight Jamal Charlo. For a couple years, we had to ask him to fight Gennady Golovkin. You know, it's just not Canelo. It's the rest of these dudes out here who don't want to go out there and give us Spencer Crawford, who didn't want to have Tank fight Lomachenko even for undisputed. So that's where we at with it. I don't care if YouTube fights. You know, it's better than some of these kids. It's showing these kids that, hey, look, let's go back to the days where before they had guns, before the crack era hit, before guns were accessible, we settled it with these. And I won some and I lost some. You know what I'm saying? I remember the losses more than the win, but you know, it's repetitious. The more you fight, the better you should get at it. But I like the message that they sending with the YouTube fights. How these kids pick their fists up again. And so many conservative parents, I don't know how a generation that grew up on the Boondocks, that grew up on South Park, and you know, who grew up with Al Bundy, Married with Children, grew up with Malcolm in the Middle, grew up with in Living Color, a lot of some of us did. I don't know who grew up on Eddie Murphy when he was the Raw comedian, who remember Richard. I don't know how a generation or those generations become so conservative and become so soft. You know, and I understand you had people, you know, children getting molested and some of the parents got molested. But shit, that shouldn't scare people for letting your kids spread their wings, because they got to be 18 at some point. A lot of these kids, when they're 18, they show immature. They can't even, you know, it's another story. It's another story. Let me not go into something else. We're going to do some dog streams too, so I'm going to try to do one a month. But with him, he right. You know, he's speaking some truth. Why not go out there? I don't know about Andre Ward. You know, do Andre Ward want to come out and beat the shit out of Canelo? But Canelo, he don't want to fight. He want to fight guys who stand in front of him. He want to get easy belts. It's no different from a lot of other guys doing, you know, in boxing. But then, if he the face of boxing, what you think a lot of these other fighters going to do? Follow the leader. All these fighters love Canelo. Even the guys that's chasing Canelo, who calling Canelo out, they love him. They go to his fights. They say he's the best fighter in the boxing. And a lot of them are Negro. A lot of them are black. Okay? They love Canelo. You know, Canelo can sit there and whip his dick out of a fight and piss in his face. He can throw his draws right there. Oh, it's Canelo. A lot of these fighters. You know, us as the fans and some of the media, new media, look at it from a lot of these dudes love Canelo. Because they doing what Canelo did, and Canelo only doing what Floyd did at the end of his career, is pick easy fights. You know, but he did test positive, and people want to say, you know, people want to forget that. But then, you know, guys like Tank who like Canelo, but as soon as you test positive, shit, white people, some niggas ain't gonna let you forget about it, and Mexicans not gonna let you forget about it. But they want to forget about it, and that's the problem. We ain't gonna never be on code, never on code, you know, at all. He failed the test, but you know, people talking about this phantom test that Floyd failed, this phantom test that Earl failed, the phantom test that the Charlo twins failed. You know, then we ain't gonna never be on code. At least Jake Paul speaking the truth, and a lot of guys in boxing scared to speak that truth. You see what Lara did. Lara walked up to him and said, "Bitch, where your balls at?" And he fought Lara. So these dudes that really want to fight Canelo, walk up to that nigga. Walk up to his press conference and gorilla check him. That's how you gonna get the fight. But a lot of these motherfuckers, they want the payday. They ain't gonna go in there and try to win. And this white boy got more heart than most of them. Been 95% of black boxers today. He got more heart. And then it wasn't like he started it. Canelo the one that kicked the kid that had a Jake Paul shirt on and kicked him out the ring. And kids know more. Kids gonna know Jake Paul more than they know Canelo Alvarez if this dude keep fighting and winning. They are. People want to get mad at him. He's messing up. Boxing been messed up since 2000, since the early 2010s. I watch fights get made, fight to fight. Timothy Bradley with what's the old boy that lost his promotional company? Gary Shaw. Devin Alexander with Don King. The fight get made. I'm watching Gulo and Kirkland fight. I watch Lara and Canelo fight. You had a lot of great fights in that. Kendall Hall, Timothy Bradley was right around that time, 9-10. So when you had a lot of those fights, Nate Campbell coming in on what he said 10 days notice to fight Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia fighting Eric Morales. Danny Garcia fighting Amir Khan. Adrian Broner fighting. You had a lot of good. You don't even get those caliber fights. You don't even get those caliber fights. Victor Ortiz taking on Madonna, Amir Khan. You had great fights that was competitive, and niggas didn't care if they lose. I wish more fighters was like Amir Khan. Amir Khan don't care if he lose. He just gonna come back, talk shit, and act like it never happened. These niggas lose. It's the end of their life. I need to get back to, you know, when niggas took chances and took risks. Madonna and Morales was another great fight. I know I can live without this heavyweight boxing, because we lived without heavyweight boxing for almost 20 fucking years with the Klitschko's. I can live without heavyweights. Let's get back to these motherfuckers banging. Chad Dawson, Thomas Adamick jumping up, fighting Chris Arreola, beating him. Arreola fighting Vitaly Klitschko. Arreola came back a lot of times. Chad Dawson, John Pascal versus Carl Froch, Butte versus Carl. We had a lot of great fights that was popping up, man. Kawasaki, Mikael Kessler, Kawasaki, Bernard Hopkins. How we felt about that? Pavlik, Hopkins, Pavlik, Taylor twice. Come on, man. We had some great fights. Martinez was fighting whoever he could. You know, real talk, Martinez and Chavez, the 12th round, that was better than a lot of fights I've seen since it. You know, these dudes don't want to fight no more, dude. And I don't care if Jake Paul come up and fight. He can't fuck up boxing no worse than it is. But he's speaking the truth. Real boxing fans want to. I think he can beat Demetrius Johnson. I think he can beat Jamal Trout. I think he can beat Jamil. But he not putting confidence in me. The way he going around, you know, he's scared to fight them dudes. You know? And that's my thing about this dude is on point. He's telling the truth. He popped high. But if he was black, we'd never let him forget it. You know? We'd never let him forget it. He right. Nobody want to see you fight a negative 5,000. And then WBC president came out and said it was a mistake. Then he came out again and said, well, the pandemic caused Ivan Uterman fight. Okay, which was it? Would you make a mistake in the regular season, or was it the pandemic? Because Canelo asked for that fight. Canelo could have bypassed that fight and get elevated to the franchise champion. Like I said before, he full of shit, man. They don't make him like they used to. Even though Chavez rocked the fuck out some motherfucker, but then he go out there and fight the Randalls, the Purnells, the Mildred Taylors, the Roger Mayweathers of the world. You know, like I said before, this white boy speaking facts. He can't fuck up boxing. Yo, see if let's talk to YouTube boxing. Well, tell your compadres, tell your peers to follow your lead and go out there and fight the best. And the O don't mean you the best. The greatest fighter in the world, the greatest fighter ever, don't have O's. Roberto Duran, Thomas Hearns, Sugar Ray Robinson, Henry Armstrong, Muhammad Ali, Tim McGrath, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, all them motherfuckers got L's. James Toney, Roy Jones Jr. Who cares they fought? Mike McCullum, Julian Jackson, pound for pound, the greatest point. He probably hit like a heavyweight. Ernie Shavers, dudes ain't even won titles. Mike Tyson is the most popular fighter in history. Right there with Muhammad Ali. And he had losses. And he still made hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. You know, Evander Holyfield, Riddick Bowe. You know what I'm saying? Pernell Whitaker. It didn't matter. Oscar De La Hoya, Chavez Sr. They had losses. Eddie Morales, Barrera. They had losses. So it don't really mean no shit to lose. It's how you come back. That's what made Muhammad Ali so great, how he came back after Joe Frazier lost. That's if Muhammad Ali was undefeated, his story wouldn't be as great. Mayweather ain't nowhere. He ain't in my top 25 greatest fighters of all time. And he got an O. It don't mean shit to me. Most people don't put Ricardo Lopez as one of the greatest fighters. He had a draw, but he was like 50-something, 50 and 0. Ain't nobody put, or 50+ and 0. Ain't nobody put Ricardo Lopez as the best fighter of all time. I don't mean shit you retire with an O. Aaron Pryor would have beat the fuck out of Floyd Mayweather Jr. He would have been what Mike Tyson said. He was in there. You know, what was my man's name? He fought from the Tyrell, but he was in there making feminine sounds. Man, Aaron Pryor would have ran through him. Thomas Hearns would have knocked Floyd the fuck out. How you gonna duck Paul? Him and Manny Pacquiao gonna duck Paul Williams, but they the greatest. Get the hell out of here. I know 10 welterweights that a neck knock or beat the shit out of Pacquiao and Floyd. Starting with Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard beat him too. Thomas Hearns. I mean, we just go on and on. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Don't forget we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video requests. All my social media links, subscription. Fastest way to reach me is Twitter, then Facebook, then Instagram. Links there. Facebook group link there as well too. Want to make a financial donation? Cash App CJ Good 313. That's your description. PayPal link there as well too. Appreciate the love and support. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Peace.